Welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Well, hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and I am sitting here trying some new equipment. Wow, I'm trying some new equipment that allows me to actually go live in a more excellent fashion. So if I make some mistakes today, forgive me. Charge it to my head, not my heart. We will get better as we go, right? Anything that you're committed to, you should be striving to be excellent at it. Not perfect, but excellent. Let me see if I can get this mic where I want it. You should be striving to be excellent at it. Well, welcome to another Let's Talk with R.C. Blakes. And today we have an amazing conversation. We're talking today about 10 questions a woman should ask a man. 10 questions that a woman should ask a man. And we did something like this some time ago, but it wasn't. This particular conversation today centers around asking the kinds of questions. I heard Coach Ken. He and I have interacted a little bit on social media. I haven't gotten a chance to really know him, but he's a popular dating coach. And I heard Coach Ken say something that really stirred something in me to just think a little deeper. And that is, a woman has to ask questions that gets to the subconscious mind of a man. Wow. I had never thought about it like that. Asking questions that will, at least not in that language. I didn't have language for it. I had thought for it, but not language. Asking questions that reveals the subconscious mind of a man. You want to know more than the surface. You want to indirectly get down to what's happening, in this guy's deeper layers. And so that kind of stirred me to develop this conversation that we're having today. 10 questions every woman should ask a man, because when you're thinking about going on a date, it's important to focus on building a genuine connection and getting to know, the other person on a deeper level. While it's not possible to directly necessarily access someone's subconscious mind unless you are a psychologist or a psychiatrist or some real deep mental health professional, for most of us, it's not possible to directly access someone's subconscious mind. Through questions, we can ask the things that are thought-provoking and things that encourage open and honest conversation, things that reveal certain things without the other party necessarily knowing what they are revealing. So I have 10 questions that I need to get to because I don't want to be too long. I always say that, right? And I never, if ever, accomplish it, right? Rarely, if ever, accomplish it, should I say. Well, the first question, for those of you that are writers, the first question is, what are your long-term goals and aspirations in life. Every woman should ask a man. You can actually ask this question on the first date, providing the first 15, 20, 30 minutes have gone well, and there's at least some amicable chemistry between the two of you. Conversation is flowing nicely, small talk is flowing nicely. He seems interested, you seem interested. And now is a good time for you to ask, what are your long-term goals and aspirations in life? Now, of course, this is after, he's told you a little bit about who he is, what he does. You've shared a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you come from, you know what I mean? And the conversation lends itself to a question that goes just a little bit deeper. There's some people that you'll date, and in the first 5 minutes, this is not going anywhere. So it's pointless to ask this question of someone that you're not going to, you're not going to return their calls, no way. And they will never get you on the phone again. So it's pointless. But if you feel like this is going somewhere and the energy is good, what are your long-term goals and aspirations in life? And this question helps you to understand the man's ambitions, his dreams, and what he's working towards, in his life. It gives you insight into the priorities and the future plans of the man. And why is that important? Well, if you're dating, and I should have said this earlier, if you're dating intentionally to find a husband or to identify a mate, this is important. Now, if you're just out here dating because you want to have sex, and a lot of women, that's the way y'all thinking, that's the way y'all rocking. I don't agree with it. I think it's a massive waste of time. I think you are doing horrific psychological, emotional, and physical damage to your bodies. But a lot of women want to just date to have sex. Unfortunate, but it's the truth. But if you're dating with the intention of locating your person, your husband, your mate, it's very important for you as a woman to know if this guy has plans on being more, doing more, going farther. It's not wise to assume that a person desires to go farther than where you've met them. And to be fair, a lot of times relationships come to a halt when one party or the other says, well, I just outgrew them. Well, the reality is also that you never ask them if they planned on growing anymore. You fell in love. That's why it's dangerous to fall in love with your type, with the physical, with the superficial. It's because a lot of times you're carried away with that stuff and you don't dig deeper for the lifelong qualities that will really carry a relationship for decades. And so because you never ask the person, what are your long-term goals? They never got a chance to really tell you directly or indirectly, I'm satisfied where I'm at. And so you marry them because you like their physicality, and you think because you have dreams of the penthouse that you can convince them, you can drag them out of the basement. But they were perfectly comfortable in the basement, but you never asked. You just wanted to get to the bed. You wanted to get to the Instagram pictures because y'all look so cute together. So you never asked, what are your long-term goals? What are your plans? It's very important for a woman to know that, because the plans of a man will let the woman know if he has the capacity to actually to be suitable for her. Because women have a lot of needs, but when those needs are not articulated up front, many times you commit yourselves to men that in all fairness, never told you they wanted to change, they wanted to do more. I was having a conversation one day with a young man, and we just got down to the brass tacks, man. And I asked him directly, I said, do you want a job? And he said, in a room full of people, I don't want a job. I don't like to work. Well, that was honest. It kind of upset me a little bit being a man, but he was honest. And how many women are entertaining guys like this because you love the way they look and you love the way they smell, and then you marry these guys and these guys don't want a job, and now you're mad because you didn't know he didn't want a job, but you never asked. A man has to have plans. A man has to have goals. For a woman to know that she's safe in the hands of that man. Because let me tell you something. You can be all the boss chick you want to be right now. After you have children and after you age a little bit, it's highly possible that you as a woman will get to a point that you don't want to grind like that no more. You're tired of waking up every day slaying the dragon. And now you're going to need a man that has a future, a plan, and a capacity to entertain your life on the next level. When you're tired of putting on that masculine hat and going out every day and, da, 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 and now you need a man that says, okay, babe, sit back, chill, I got it. Well, you're not going to know if you have a potential guy like that until you have this kind of conversation. And the Bible says in Proverbs 16:3, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. Well, a man that's going somewhere is a man that has plans. A man that has no plans will probably be where you find him. And so if you're content, if you think you'll be content at 40 years old, being in the same place with a man that you met him at 25, go for it. But if you think you're going to need something more and something different from a 40-year-old man than you find at 25, you better start asking this man, what are his plans? Because the Bible says we commit our work to the Lord, our plans will be established. And you can pretty much get a psychological visual on what a man's plans are by the work he's presently doing. Like when Lisa and I got together, though Lisa made more money than me, Lisa knew where I was going because of the work I was doing, the grind I had. You know what I mean? The focus I had. Come on, somebody. She knew, and I articulated my plans. Lisa knew where I was going. Lisa didn't just marry me because she loved me. She did love me, and I loved her. But both of us realized that love wasn't enough. Lisa wanted a man that would provide a life that her children would never have to suffer or struggle. Our children never suffered or struggled. Lisa wanted a man that it would never be a struggle for our children to go to college. Our children graduated from college, don't know what Sally Mae is. No, come on, somebody. This stuff paid for. But Lisa knew my plan, got in there and worked with me. This is another side conversation. Got in there and worked with me, and together we became what the world calls a high-value man. We became a high-value couple. But she could not commit herself to that until she knew my plans. What are your long-term goals and aspirations in life? Because the vision of a man is the thing that's going to remain attractive. When he begins to age, a lot of folks say men age gracefully and all of that, but the reality is there's a big difference between a man that's 20 versus a man that's 40 versus a man that's 60. The thing that remains attractive about a man is his mind and his drive and his vision. There's nothing more masculine than a man with plans and a man that has goals and aspirations. A woman can feel safe. She can trust that her future is safe in the hands of a man like that. But you won't know what that is or if that man even has that if you don't ask the questions. A man that does not have long-term goals, does not have a reason, does not even really have a reason for a wife. A wife cannot give a man a vision. but she can help a man who has a plan. A woman can't determine if she is suitable for a man until she knows where he's going. So a sufficiently masculine man will have a vision a woman can get excited about. Now, John Gottman, who's a relationship researcher, says a shared vision and goals are vital foundations. I'm taking too long here. Are vital foundations for a strong, fulfilling relationship. When both partners are aligned in their long-term aspirations, they can support and encourage each other on the journey. Love that. So question number 2, what do you value most in your relationships with others? By asking this question, you can learn about the qualities and the values that are important to this individual in his interpersonal relationships. This question provides insight into their expectations and what they prioritize in their connections with others. When you ask this question, what do you value most in your relationships with others? This is where you can discern, watch this, childish selfishness in a man or mature partnership. If you want a man that's going to make for a great husband, you need a man that is operating on the frequency of mature partnership. If you want just, a man that may be a good bed situation, you're probably going to get childish selfishness. But when you ask this question, the answer to that question is going to reveal either childish selfishness or mature partnership. If a man's response to this question is, you ask, well, what do you value most in your relationships with others? And if his initial response is well, I love for others to do this, or that. I love when my woman does this, or that. I love when my woman says this. I love when my woman does this way. Well, that's a what? That's a me, my, mine kind of response. And those things may be true. But a man that is a mature partner, that has that level of maturity about him, his psychology is going to reveal itself in his answer. And his answer is going to be more like, well, I love doing. What do you value most in your relationships with others? Well, I love doing X, Y, Z for my partner. I love having the opportunity to build with someone. I love growing and learning with. Well, those are mature partnership kind of responses. But if a man breaks straight out the gate, what do you value most in your relationship with others? I love when people, take care of me, and I love when people serve me. Well, now you're dealing with a child. And, don't write him completely off, but side eye him at least. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 32 through 34 says this, but I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. And there's difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married careth for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. Why did I read this verse? It's because it's talking about the psychology of a spouse, a husband or a wife. When a man is husband material, he has a mindset to care for the things that concern his wife. When a woman is wife material, she has a mindset to care for the things that concern her husband. This can be revealed in the dating process. When you ask a person, what do you value most in your relationships? If their answer leans more towards being of service to another, because that's where healthy relationships start. It starts with me having a mind to be of service to Lisa, and Lisa having a mind to be of service to me. And as a consequence, neither of us will ever be lacking anything we need. You see, it's because you can get this kind of information from this question. What do you value most in your relationship with others? Esther Perel, psychotherapist and author, says mutual respect, trust, and emotional support are fundamental values in a healthy relationship. When love is the foundation, it creates a safe and nurturing environment for both partners. Question number three. Can you describe, now this is probably, unless this first date is really going long and going great and y'all really getting deep with it, this question is probably reserved for second or third date at the most. You know, if y'all going out again, now you can actually start going a little deeper. The first two questions are great first date, questions. What are your long-term goals and aspirations in life? What do you value most in your relationship with others? You can ask those if the first date is going great. Question is probably second or third date type material. Can you describe a challenging experience that has shaped who you are today? Very important for a man or for a woman to ask a man this question, because this question allows you to understand how the man has grown and developed through difficult experiences. It provides insight into his resilience. Watch this. Not only does it give you insight to his resilience, it gives you insight to his problem-solving skills and the lessons he's learned from his past. If you ask a man this question, can you describe a challenging experience that has shaped who you are today? And he has to scratch his head to come up with an answer. There you have a man that's not gone through enough probably for you to put your life safely in the hands of. Maybe he's been mamaed to death, got a mama that just shelters him and shields him from everything, or he's gone through a lot of stuff and he's too dense to learn. But a grown man should be able to answer that question very quickly. If you ask me that question, I can rattle it all for you immediately. What was it? How it shaped me? What I learned from it? What did it, all of that. A woman has to have an idea of how a man functions under pressure to know if she can stay. Watch this. Here's a big one. You need to know how this man functions under pressure to know if you can stay in your feminine in a crisis. If a man can't handle pressure, and if he's not been shaped by challenges or challenging experiences in his life, you're not certain that when the time comes that in the relationship you all are faced with challenges or difficulties, that he has the fortitude to actually manage that challenging moment so as to allow you to stay in your feminine. Because if a woman has a man that is not masculine enough to manage the challenging moments, she will slip into that masculine and take over. She will. And it's very important for a woman to know that she has a man that has the fortitude to actually handle challenging moments, because if the relationship runs up on a rocky time and things get challenging and she has to take over, she's going to lose respect for him. Now, it's one thing for them to have such a situation where he's doing his thing and he just needs help, to fight through the situation. It's another thing altogether when he crumbles because he's not gone through, and now you got to take over and you got to see the family through. You're never going to have respect for that guy. So you need to start learning about this part of this man sooner than later. And the Bible says in Psalms 119:71, it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. Every man should have learned something from the difficulty he's gone through. Now, side note, and I'll get back on track. As a parent, you got to learn to let your boys go through some stuff. I know I'm talking to a lot of single mothers. You can't shield the boy from everything. You got to let the boy go through some stuff. Put him on a football team. Let the coach, make him run. Tell him stop all that whining and crying. He's going to have to learn how he's going to have to be the pillar for a family one day. You're not raising a boy, Ma. You're raising a man. And so that's just a little side note. But listen to what definitely not the Bible. Brene Brown says, challenging experiences can be transformative and provide opportunities for growth. How individuals handle adversity and learn from it can shape their character and resilience in relationships. A man's faith in crisis is shaped by the challenges he's already conquered. When you see a man that's gone through a whole lot and he's made it, his faith is usually on another level. In Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. How do we know this? We've gone through it. We've been there. We've done that. We got the t-shirt. Come on, somebody. Number four. I'm trying to get through these 10, man. How do you handle adversity or difficult situations in your life? Now, number 3 was, can you describe a challenging experience that has shaped who you are today? Number 4 says, now, how do you presently handle adversity or difficult situations in your life? Now, by asking this question, you gain an understanding of their coping mechanisms. You gain an understanding of their coping mechanisms, problem-solving abilities, and emotional resilience. It helps you see how they approach and navigate challenging circumstances. If they don't have a very specific response to this question, they probably don't handle adverse conditions very well. They may be more internal or explosive and less managed. Because any man that has really thought his way through life already knows how he's going to handle adversity or difficult situations in his life. Me personally, I know I need to talk it out. I know I need to slow my mind down so as not to overthink it. I know I need to get counsel, right? I know I need to reframe it because my mind can take me to the worst case scenario immediately. These are all things I know I have to go through when I'm dealing with handling adverse situations. I know that I have to maintain a stewardess on the airplane type of demeanor with my family. Doesn't matter how much the airplane is shaking and rocking, the stewardess keeps smiling and keeps everybody calm. And then she calmly communicates what needs to be communicated, nothing more, nothing less. This is where a woman can get a sense of the man's problem-solving skills. You want to know that. Because trust me, when you're in trouble, him being cute ain't gonna be enough. Him being fine is not going to cut it. You ain't gonna care nothing about him being fine or cute. You need to know how do you handle adversity or difficult situations in your life. Now, a leader, again, reframes every negative into a positive. And for a leader, there's no panic. For a man that's a leader, there's no panic. He's not going to panic. Consider it, James 1:2-3 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Now, what is James 1:2-3 saying to us? It's saying to us that a leader keeps a positive mindset, stays in faith, and considers it joy. It doesn't allow the situation to dictate his emotion. He allows his emotion to reframe the situation. Dr. Sue Johnson, psychologist and couples therapist, says couples who effectively navigate difficult situations together often demonstrate strong communication, empathy, and problem-solving skills. Adversity can be the catalyst for growth and deepening connection. Another thing I would add under number 4: how do you handle adversity or difficult situations in your life? A strong leader of a man will probably add, he leans on the strengths of his wife. In other words, he's not an egotistical man that's going to be out here trying to do things because I'm the leader. Sometimes being the leader means being the follower. Being able to see and being able to say, this particular assignment is not best suited for me, sweetheart. This is what we're dealing with. Can you handle this part while I hold this down? While I hold this down? While I hold this part down? Yeah, you need to know how. I just tough it through and I do what I'm going to do. Well, sometimes you don't know what to do. There are situations Lisa and I have run upon where, I knew this was best suited for us. I would say, babe, now this is what we're dealing with. You're better at this than I am. So I'll, whatever you tell me to do in this situation, I'll do it. I'll follow your lead because you're strongest here. You know what I'm saying? She submits to me as her husband and as the leader of our family because she knows that I'm smart enough and wise enough to know what I don't know and to trust her when I know she knows. And I don't feel slighted as a man because my wife is able to handle such and such. Or if it's beyond both of us, she knows that I'm not so egotistical that I'm not going to go and get some outside help. Come on, somebody. But you got to know before you commit yourself to man how he handles adversity. Number 5, what motivates and inspires you in your personal and professional life? What inspires you? What puts you in a good spirit, inspiration in spirit? What puts you in your best spirit? This question allows you to learn about a person's sources of motivation and what drives them. It provides insight into their passions, their interest, and what gives them a sense of purpose. I love what Colossians 3:23 says. He says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. In other words, whatever you put yourself into, be passionate about it. And so you want to know what is this guy passionate about? What inspires him? What motivates him? If all he's inspired by is football, basketball, and nothing else, and you're inspired by art, travel, he doesn't want to leave New Orleans because he just wants to go to the Saints game. That's all he want to do. He wants to go to the Saints games. He wants to go to the Pelicans game. That's all he want to do. I don't need to see the other side of the world. I don't feel like flying that far. I don't want to go that long. But in the meantime, you want to go to the Louvre. Come on, somebody. You have some art you want to check out. You want to see all parts of the world. Well, he may be a great guy, but y'all's, what inspires him versus what inspires you may be too, far apart. Lisa and I, we both had in common, we were inspired by our relationship with God, inspired by goal setting, inspired by each other. So we had a lot of fundamental things that were in common that we could build on. But when you ask this question, if he's inspired by, Lil Baby and you inspired by Mozart, do y'all have enough in common? You know what I mean? Can y'all find a happy medium? Gary Chapman, author of the 5 Love Languages, says passion, and inspiration drive individuals to pursue their goals and live purposeful lives. When partners support each other's passions, so you have to know if you can support, him in his passions. It can enhance their relationship by fostering individual growth and fulfillment. Lisa knew she could support me in my passions, even though some of the things that inspired me, because we had a lot in common to start with, but the things that we didn't have in common were things that she could sign up for. Sometimes the things that inspire a person are, they're just not in sync with your values or your morals. You know what I mean? One person might be inspired by just sitting around smoking weed all day. Is that your thing? Can you do that? Is that what you want to do? Well, number 6, let's move so I can get out of here. Number 6, tell me about a passion or hobby that brings you joy and fulfillment. You see how these questions are building? This question helps you understand their interests, hobbies, what they do, what they enjoy doing in their free time. It provides an opportunity to explore deeper, even shared interests and potential activities. Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? Dr. John Van Epp says, engaging in shared activities and interests can strengthen the bond between partners. Pursuing individual passions while also finding common hobbies can foster connection and create joyful experiences together. Tell me about a passion or hobby that brings you joy and fulfillment. Now, Lisa and we've discovered together traveling the world is our thing. I didn't realize that I would love it as much when we first got together. But now that's something we've discovered. When we first got together, I've always loved restaurants. She learned to love restaurants. Especially after she had kids and, tired of cooking all the time. She learned to love restaurants. We learned to travel. I first started, she initially said, well, I don't feel like being on a plane that long, but once she did her first trip, now she's hooked. Sometimes she's gone without me. You know what I'm saying? Number 7, what are your views on personal growth, self-improvement? Very important question. By asking this question, you can gauge their attitude towards personal development and continuous improvement. It helps you understand if they prioritize personal growth and if they are open to self-reflection and self-improvement. The last thing you want to do is to be in a relationship where you are becoming the best version of yourself, but you're tied to someone who's not growing. Recipe for immediate failure. 2 Corinthians 6:14, be not unequally yoked together. Y'all know that's a popular one. Be not unequally yoked together. Why would you be tied up? Why would you put a donkey and a stallion in the same yoke? The height is different. The stride is different. The temperaments are different. Come on, somebody. You're going to get somebody hurt. What are your views on personal growth and self-improvement? This is where you're going to see if this man has a drive that hopefully supersedes yours, but at least is equivalent to yours and will grow with you on schedule. One of the things that has made Lisa and I work is that we have grown pretty much on schedule. When one started growing a little more than the other was able to recognize and catch up. We've never gotten too far apart. Come on, somebody. We've grown on schedule. We've stayed together because we had a common personal growth philosophy. Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Personal growth. Don't get locked down to your environment or your community, but be transformed by the personal growth of your own psychology. Dr. Alexandra Solomon, psychologist and relationship expert, says individual growth and self-improvement are crucial for personal well-being and relationship satisfaction. I absolutely agree with this. When both partners prioritize their own growth, it contributes to the overall growth of the relationship. The only part of our marriage that I can control is my personal growth. I have to keep growing. The only part she can control is her personal growth. And now what has to happen is we have to both keep our eyes on one another, and we have to make certain that where the other is leading in terms of growth, you catch up. She catches up to me, or in a lot of cases, I'm catching up to her. I'm not going to let my woman outgrow me. Like I see some guys let their women just go to church and get spiritual and, connected to God and their children, and you sitting at home drinking beer. Bruh, come on now. How you going to let a woman outgrow you spiritually? And you just sitting around there satisfied? That's a bad thing, man. Okay, number 8, how do you balance work and personal life? Another great question. This question allows you to learn about their approach to work-life balance and how they prioritize their commitments. It provides insight. This question provides insight into their values regarding work, leisure, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. If a man is talking about, all I do is work, all I'm going to do is work, you ain't going to see me, I'm going to leave out before the sun come up, and I'm going to come back after the sun's gone down, and all I want is my dinner, I'm going to bed. What about vacations? No vacations. What about us time? Oh, I ain't got time for that. Well, I mean, there's a certain point you have to have a work-life balance, because work is not life. Work is just resource. It provides you with means to live. You got to live in your family, man. You know what I mean? And you got to prioritize your family. If you got a man that's too, narrow-minded to understand that, now if you're all on the same page with that'll work. But if you actually want to build a life with a man and that you want to know, not just a man that's just paying your bills and just making babies with you, but a man you can actually grow with and know, you need to understand this part. In 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. There are times that I got to say no to certain things because my family comes first, because I prioritize my family. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put work ahead of my family. I'm not going to put church ahead of my family. I'm not going to put speaking engagements ahead of my family. No, my family comes first. Dr. Laura Berman says, achieving a healthy work-life balance is essential for relationship harmony. It involves setting boundaries, prioritizing quality time with loved ones, and creating space for self-care and rejuvenation. And the question was, how do you balance work and personal life? Actually, a better way of phrasing that question would be, how do you harmonize? Because there is no such thing as balance. To balance a thing means that you have to find the exact center, and you have to get that thing to the exact center for that thing to balance. Well, that ain't gonna happen in no relationship. There's gonna be give and take. There are gonna be days that he's gonna have to give more, she's gonna have to take more. She's gonna have to give more, he's gonna have to take more. But you gotta have a man that understands how to make those sacrifices and how to create that harmony. Number 9, what kind of legacy or impact do you hope to leave behind? By asking a man this question, you can gain insight into their long-term, again, aspirations and the mark they want to leave on the world. It helps you understand their values and what they hope to contribute to society. This gets to the core of the man's why. What kind of legacy or impact do you hope to leave behind? Lisa always knew I wanted to raise independent children, healthy, independent, productive adults. All 4 of them are. She knew that family was a priority for me. I wanted to be a man that lived a life that his children and his grandchildren could be proud of. She knew that. That was part of my legacy. She knew that I wanted to touch the world in a way that when I'm gone, people would miss me and would never be able to forget about me. She knew that. And so you see, because the reason you got to ask this question, you got to get to the man's why. Why does he exist? Is because grown boys want to make an impression, but grown men want to make an impact. So this answer should include things that deal with his spirituality, finances or money, family, community impact, so forth and so on. Because you think about the 3 stages of a man's development. The first stage is the man has to learn how to take care of himself. The second stage of a man's development is he learns how to take care of his family. The third stage of a man's development is he learns how to impact his whole community. So you got to have a man that has legacy in mind as it relates to how he lives his life. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 18 and 19 says that they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. That they do good, that they be rich in good works, want to leave a legacy or a life filled with good works, great memories for those that are left behind. Dr. Gottman says, creating a meaningful legacy is a reflection of one's values and desire to make a positive impact. Sharing common values and goals can strengthen the bond between partners and provide a sense of purpose in the relationship. You see, when Lisa understood the mark I wanted to leave on the world, she simultaneously understood that she fit into my life because it aligned with the legacy she desired to leave. And so now we what? Do it together. Number 10, my time is gone. 10th question, and I'm out of here. Ask this man to describe your ideal partner or relationship. This is probably a 3rd, 4th date kind of question. This question allows you to understand their preferences and expectations in a romantic relationship. It provides insight into their values, their priorities, and the qualities they seek in a partner. You see, if you get answers like, I want her to be, 110 pounds, 120 pounds of size, 3, 4, 5. I want her to be, 5, 6, 5, 5. And that's all you get. You now know you have what? A shallow little man that is not deep enough to actually transition through life. Because even if you are all of that right now, who's to say you're going to be that in 20 years? Your body more than likely is going to change. Who's to say you're going to be that after not even 20 years, after you have a child? You know what I mean? So you got to have a man that is describing something more than superficial qualities. Proverbs 18:22 says, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. But a man that finds a wife is looking for what? A wife. A wife is not a dress size or a weight class. A wife is not lips, tips, and hips. A wife is character, soul, and spirit. Now, every man wants a woman that he enjoys looking at and that moves him sexually. But a wise man is looking for the inner, above the exterior, because you can get all of this exterior stuff. Fact about it, I won't tell the story. My time is far spent. But listen to what Dr. Helen Fisher says. She's biological anthropologist and relationship expert. She says having a clear understanding of what one desires in a partner or relationship is important. It helps individuals identify compatibility and build a strong foundation based on shared values and aspirations. If a man's answer never addresses anything relative to values and future, when I went back to go get Lisa, y'all know our story. You know, I said to Lisa, after years of dating, I won't be married. She should move on. She moved on, got a new boyfriend and all of that. About a year and a half or so later, I think it was, she says, I got my mind right, and I knew that Lisa was my wife. Well, when I went back to get Lisa, it was not because Lisa was beautiful, and she is extremely beautiful. It was not because I was sexually attracted to her, and I was extremely sexually attracted to her. It was because I knew that Lisa was the kind of woman that fit my future. She was the kind of woman that I could grow old with, the kind of woman that fit into who I knew I was and where I was going. And if a man describes his ideal partner on the superficial levels and never really gets to the character or the values, you got to really pay close attention to that guy, because he may be too shallow for you. I'm done. I've talked entirely too long. And I'm just so glad that you all took the time to listen to me. Now, my prayer for you is that you will have wisdom in terms of how you move about, in terms of how you interact, how you go about dating. Now, listen, I need you to go to my website, rcblakes.com, sign up for my mailing list, check out all of my online programs. But let me say this before I let you go. We have only 30 spots left, and we had to open those spots up for Queenology Intensive happening August. This would be the 26th, that's Saturday. We have only 30 spots left, and we're shutting that down this Friday. If you're watching this message in real time, we're shutting it down this Friday. If you want to come to Queenology, you need to go to Queenology, queenology.net. I have so many websites I can't remember. Queenology.net, I think it is, and pick or get one of those seats for that Saturday brunch and / intensive. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank all of you that have sown into our lives today. Lisa and I love you so much. Listen, look in the description. You'll find a link for BetterHelp Counseling. And if you use that link, they will give you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And in turn, they will make a deposit into RC Blake's Ministries. We've had a wonderful relationship with BetterHelp for years. Lisa and I are not counselors, but BetterHelp is who we refer people to. Amazon, go to Amazon, pick up all of my books. If you want to go to Egypt with us, if you desire to go to Egypt with us, you need to go to rcblakes.com and you need to make your deposit. It's sold out, and we had to open up some more spaces because some of you were moving too slow. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I need you to go to rcblakes.com. We're going to Egypt in June of 2024. Love to have you with us, but you got to move. And once it's sold out, this time we're done. Love to have you. Now listen, I love you with all of my heart. I'm trying to figure out which way do I go from here with this new equipment that I am playing around with. You're on top. You're going higher. Don't forget to like this before you leave out of here today. Don't you dare leave out of here without liking this. You're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. So guess what? We will see you at the top. God bless you. Until next time.
We here at RC Blake's Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by R.C. Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by R.C. You may find all books written by R.C. and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at R.C. Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.